All right, so let's get right into this wild fan theory that's been making the rounds online. It's about a reality TV star who might be in way over his head. We're talking about a story that has viewers seriously wondering if they're watching a romance or a rescue mission.
And it all kicked off with this one simple question on Reddit. Just 4 little words that started a massive debate among 90 Day Fiancé fans. It perfectly captured that feeling that so many viewers had but couldn't quite put their finger on.
So, yeah, how did we get to a point where people are genuinely worried that a new cast member is being held against his will? To really get it, to understand why everyone thinks Matt Branis is trapped, we first have to unpack the very unconventional relationship he walked into.
It all starts with the arrangement itself, which was pretty unconventional from the get-go, and it involves a married couple that fans of the show already know very well, Jasmine Pineda and Gino Palazzolo.
Okay, so you've got 3 people at the center of this whole thing. First, there's Jasmine, who, if you've seen the show, you know has a reputation for being, let's just say a little controlling. Then there's her husband, Gino. They decide to spice things up and try an open marriage. And who do they invite to be the third party? Their mutual friend from the gym, Matt.
And at first, everything seemed to be going just fine. Matt was totally on board. He said he found Jasmine really attractive. The whole thing actually started with Jasmine leaning on Matt for emotional support with her marriage problems, so they built this strong friendship before anything physical even happened.
Which brings us to the sudden move-in. This is where the casual part-time arrangement took a turn that was so sharp, I don't think anyone, especially not Matt, saw it coming.
So Jasmine and Gino get into this massive fight, a huge one, and Gino kicks her out of the house. With absolutely nowhere else to go, what does she do? She immediately moves right into Matt's house. The entire dynamic just changed in an instant.
This timeline really just puts the sheer speed of this all into perspective. I mean, think about it. Matt goes from being a casual gym buddy to a shoulder to cry on to a third party in a marriage, and then, bam, almost instantly, he's your primary live-in partner. This wasn't a gradual thing. This was a relationship flash flood.
And this abrupt, sudden shift is the absolute foundation for the main fan theory that's taken over the internet, that Matt is simply and completely emotionally overwhelmed.
Viewers were really quick to pick up on a change. The Matt who was once so enthusiastic suddenly looked, well, different on camera. The words fans used were lost, confused, and less enthusiastic. His whole vibe, his body language, just seemed to be screaming that he was stuck in a situation he never, ever signed up for.
And this right here, this is the original Reddit comment that just lit the fuse. It perfectly captured what so many people were seeing on their TV screens. That kind of blank, confused stare he had became Exhibit A for the whole hostage theory.
Of course, other fans just jumped right on board. A lot of them using this kind of dark humor to point out how serious they thought the situation was. It turned into a running joke, sure, but it was a joke that came from what people genuinely thought they were seeing in his behavior. So let's just lay it all out. The theory is that his so-called hostage look is just pure shock. He thought he was signing on to be a fun, part-time sexual partner, not a primary, full-time one. On top of that, he'd supposedly never even been in a serious relationship before, so he's completely unprepared for Jasmine's famously intense personality. The idea is that this sudden change just left him emotionally drained and confused, with all of it happening while the cameras were rolling. But there is another pretty compelling explanation for Matt's behavior that has absolutely nothing to do with him regretting his thing with Jasmine. And this really lays out the central conflict for viewers. Is he trapped by the relationship, or is he just trapped by the pressure of reality TV? He could be totally overwhelmed by how intense things got so fast, or he could be genuinely in love but just feels immense pressure from the TV cameras. 2 totally different problems that could look exactly the same on screen. So this second theory basically says Matt's discomfort isn't about Jasmine at all, but about being followed around constantly by a production crew for a show that is known for its high drama. He might actually be in love, but he's just completely overwhelmed by the artificial world of having your life filmed 24/7. So, where does that leave us? What's the real story? We're left with 2 pretty believable theories to explain what we're seeing on our screens. Okay, let's just recap. Matt's role in this whole thing changed literally overnight, and his demeanor on the show clearly says he's uncomfortable. The big question is why? Is he emotionally drowning in the intensity of the relationship, or is he just buckling under the pressure of being on reality TV?
This whole thing is just a fascinating look at the clash between real human feelings and the manufactured world of television.
And in the end, we're left with this question. Are fans picking up on a real, subtle cry for help from a guy who's in way over his head? Or is this just what it looks like when a private person is completely unprepared for the high price of reality TV fame? It's a question that really makes you think about what's real and what's just made for television.